World of Tanks Driver. These are driver skills and perks for World of Tanks. You have 4 common skills that are common among all crew members, and then you have 5 that are unique to the driver. And there may be more skills from one of the other crew members depending on which vehicle you play. Some of the skills are for driving performance, which is clutch braking, to spin around, off-road driving, which is to improve your speed or to spin around. Smooth ride is for gun handling. This prevents fires and damage to the engine. This increases your damage when you hit somebody or reduces damage that you may have received. If you have preventative maintenance, you really don't need firefighting. So you could go the route of putting preventative maintenance early on, and you're going to reduce the number of times you lose damage by fire. Out of 1,000 games, my vehicle was destroyed by fire once out of 1,000 games. You're probably going to want preventative maintenance on Chinese tanks. Brothers in Arms helps all sorts of statistics, such as your reload time, aim time, etc. Very useful, especially with vents, gun laying drive, etc. I'm sorry, with vents, food consumables, vent purge. If you max out Brothers in Arms, vents, vent purge, and food consumables, it's going to be the same as adding a gun rammer and a gun laying drive and other equipment. So it's very useful. Repairs is for repairing your tracks and other equipment. You definitely want it to repair your tracks because you could take a lot more damage if you get stuck out in the open. I use 2 repair kits instead, and you can use equipment to improve the durability of your vehicle, which I use on light tanks because I don't want to get tracked out in the open. If you have a heavy tank, you might want to strongly consider durability. I'm going to use an example. If you die frequently in the game, you might want to use equipment to improve the durability of your vehicle so you take less damage. Concealment is good for light tanks, medium tanks, SPGs, light tank destroyers, less useful for heavy tanks. Firefighting is good for most vehicles, especially if you have a lot of hit points. Not as useful for SPGs, they're just going to destroy your tank. They're not going to set it on fire. Not as useful for light tanks, they're just going to destroy your vehicle because you have low hit points, although you might be running away and they hit you in the engine and you get set on fire. And you want it for Chinese vehicles and vehicles with the engine in the front, such as this one. No, that's not one. Such as this one has the engine in the front. Obviously, this one has the engine in the front. This has the engine in the front. So you want to protect yourself from fire. So you're going to want firefighting and preventative maintenance. Clutch braking. This is good for vehicles that have to spin around. Something like this, although I believe this one spins around quickly. Heavy, super heavy vehicles and tank destroyers, like something like this, you're probably going to want to put it on. Or a tier 10 tank destroyer like this one. You want it on this vehicle because he needs to spin around to aim his gun or to defend himself. So you're going to want to have clutch braking on that vehicle. Every vehicle does have a driver, and every vehicle has a commander. So there's going to be cases where you might not have a loader or a radio operator, and you might not have a gunner because some vehicles only have the commander and the driver. Smooth ride is for your gun handling, which means firing your gun, better aim. For example, if you are driving forward or driving in reverse, SPGs do it. They drive forward, fire, drive reverse, fire. A lot of tank destroyers do it. Heavy tanks do it. You drive forward, you fire, and then you reverse to hide. Then you want this. It works passively. It works almost every shot. If you are the type of vehicle that's just sitting there and waiting, not going to help so much. So if you have a tank destroyer and you're sitting in the back and you're just waiting for somebody and you've pre-aimed, it's not going to help you. And I don't think it helps if you spin the vehicle. If you rotate your vehicle, I don't think it helps. But in general, it's pretty good. It's probably better to get snapshot than smooth ride. And you really have to say both of them are equal. They kind of go hand in hand. You want to get both. Snapshot is kind of like vertical stabilizer. And although this has some of the benefits of vertical stabilizer, it's not exactly the same. Off-road driving improves your speed on rough terrain, soft terrain, and it lets you spin faster. It's half the benefit of clutch braking. So you usually get off-road driving first and then clutch braking second. Preventative maintenance reduces the chance you catch fire, reduces engine damage. You're going to use less repair kits. You're going to have less damage received. Really good thing to have. I wish I had this on every vehicle early in the game. Control the impact. If you ram somebody or if they ram you, you give more damage and receive less damage. It's good for SPGs. They ram you at the end of the game, but you got to make sure you're moving. It's good for light tanks because you collide a lot. It's good for fast vehicles, not so much for slow vehicles. Not useful for super heavy tanks or super heavy tank destroyers. So for most vehicles, you're going to get brothers in arms. If you're a heavy tank, you get repairs. If you're a light tank, you get concealment. You're probably going to want to, don't get firefighting for your driver, get preventative maintenance. And it nullifies the firefighting. And you won't have to get firefighting on every other vehicle. So get preventative maintenance. Depends, are you a defensive player or offensive? If you're offensive, you want performance. You want off-road driving, smooth ride, clutch braking. If you're playing defensive, you want preventative maintenance. Survivability. I would say you're not going to use smooth ride every time you fire. You have to fire the gun to get the benefit. It's more so in a fast action game. You're not going to use it as often as you want. Off-road driving, you're going to use every game. Clear benefit, large maps, more benefit. Frontline, definite. Grand battle, definite. Half the maps, definite. City maps, not as much. But for spinning, yes. Clutch braking, some tanks, SPGs, definite. Turretless tank destroyer, definite. Super heavy tank, definite, like a mouse. But get off-road driving first. Controlled impact, fast tanks, if you like to ram. Maybe the ones with the jet boosters. SPGs, but you have to be moving when they ram you. So if you're playing a heavy tank, you're going to get the brothers in arms, repairs, preventative maintenance, off-road driving. smooth ride, and then you pick from the remaining ones. For a light tank, you get brothers in arms, concealment, probably off-road driving because you have to drive a lot, probably controlled impact. You're going to get a little bit more damage in the game. Clutch braking might give you a tighter turn circle. And for medium tanks, you're probably going to want to get this pretty much the same thing. All of them are useful. I would say firefighting is the least useful for the driver. Get preventative maintenance first. Put firefighting last. Off-road before clutch. Smooth ride, like I said, you only get the benefit half the time. So not such a priority. Okay, those are my comments. If you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to post below. Because the driver has more skills, you see the gunner only has 4, commander has 5, and he might have more. The driver has 5. When you go to your barracks and you recruit somebody, don't recruit these guys. Recruit the ones that have more crew skills because the driver needs them. Okay, so if you have any comments, please post below. I am the owner of cheapbooks.com, which is a website for searching for books and textbooks. If you want, I will go through some of the equipment and show you the ones that are related to the driver. Obviously, vents, obviously the improved rotational mechanism has a similar skill along with the V-stabs. The additional grousers has a similar skill, which is the clutch braking and whatever the other one is called. Is it called smooth? Not smooth ride. It's the off-road driving. The modified configuration is similar to having the repair skill and preventative maintenance for the engine. This one is suspension durability, which is like not really repair skill. It also does repair speed, I believe. Obviously, the turbocharger is related to driving. So a lot of them are related to driving. So for example, you could get the grousers, the clutch braking, the off-road driving, you're going to spin around really fast. And with the turbocharger, you'll probably also, actually this one I don't think it does. Well, it does for the engine power. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.